This is the plaintiff, Carrie Carbonaro. She says the defendant, a business colleague of hers, wanted to move into an apartment she was subletting, signed a lease, and gave her a post-dated check. Wouldn't you know it, the guy's check bounced. He backed out of the deal, and she's now out a whole heap of money. She has no other choice but to sue the crisscrossing defendant for the $2,035 the guy ended up stiffing her for. This is the defendant, Vincent Casillo. He says he had every intention of renting the plaintiff's apartment, but a tax issue with a previous business he had reared its ugly head, and he realized he wasn't going to be able to take the place after all. He informed the plaintiff 45 days before moving. She re-rented the place immediately, is out nothing, and he therefore owes the greedy woman nothing. He's accused of flip-flopping.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant was moving into the apartment she was renting and his checks bounced all over town. But the defendant says tax issues prevented him from sealing the deal, and he gave the plaintiff plenty of notice. It's the case of 1040, over and out.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
Okay, Carrie Carbonaro?
Yes.
You are suing Vincent Casillo for $2,035. That's $2,000 of a security deposit on a check that bounced, plus the bounced check fee. Because according to you, he agreed to lease an apartment of yours and then bailed. Tell me what happened.
Correct. Last June, he came to me and said that he'd like the apartment, and I told him we had a
How
renter.
did you two meet?
Oh, we knew each other from the Huntington Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, this is awkward. Does everybody else talk about you?
I hope not.
Okay. Well, they will now. Go ahead.
So he told me he wanted the apartment, and I told him it was going to be leased for the summer, and that he would take it after the summer, and he said no problem. And then
How much was rented the apartment?
$2,000.
Okay.
So then August 31st, the tenant moved out, and he was to move in September. So he came in and he signed the lease and gave me a check.
May I see both those things?
Sure.
Who's the gentleman with you?
My fiance.
Okay. Did he put a ring on it? Is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
Because if not, it's just your boyfriend.
Yes.
Okay. Can I see the ring?
No, I don't have it with me.
Okay. Why aren't you wearing the ring?
It's being sized right now.
Okay, good. I would also have accepted that's none of your business. Okay. Did you sign this lease, Mr. Casillo?
Yes.
Okay. And the lease was signed on September 20th for you to enter on... A bunch of whiteout back and forth. Look at that, the date's whited out. The date of actual moving in is whited out and nobody wrote something?
Well, we were leaving it open to whenever he was ready to move in.
Okay, but the idea was October 1st?
Yes, or
Okay.
some even in
Reasonable
September.
facsimile thereof? Okay.
Right.
So you signed the lease and you gave her the check on September 28th as a security deposit for $2,000. The rent is $2,000, and why the check bounced and you won't make good on it, and what is your answer to all these complaints?
Well, in the interim, I encountered some old IRS problems resurfaced for about $170,000.
How old?
Probably going back to the 90s.
Do you have any evidence of what you're saying?
I have a copy of one of the documents.
That'll probably say how old. And what do you mean that you encountered them?
Well,
This is from 1991?
yep. The
All right,
short
the problems
answer.
are older than my marriage and children. So, and they feel like they've been around forever. So tell me how it is that this rears its ugly head. What is it? Originally a $32,000 bill, it became $150,000?
Yes.
So, guy says, hey, you know what? I've got legitimate tax problems. I want to get out of this deal. I can't afford to pay even though I signed the contract. Is that a defense?
No, absolutely not.
Why?
You haven't filed for bankruptcy. It's a.
I got it, but he's saying, look, you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. I can't afford to pay.
No, it's your personal problems. It's got nothing to do with whether or not, that's what you're supposed to do.
Fair enough. And who hasn't spoken yet? You haven't spoken yet. Is it a defense?
No, I don't think it's a defense. No, not really. No, I suppose at the end of the day, you have to pay your bills, though.
I think what you just said is pretty much the beginning and the end of the whole deal. Going inside the courtroom.
How'd that happen?
I used to own a printing business, and we went out of business back in the 90s. And we were under the impression that the balance was written off. But
Well, it would be if you were incorporated, but they're going after you personally. So
yeah, they went after me personally.
were you not incorporated?
We were incorporated, but it was tax liability that the business owed to the government.
So they go after you personally?
They go after you personally.
Did this rear its ugly head for the first time 20 years later, or it's been rearing its ugly head for 20 years?
Well, we've been going back and forth. Actually, at one point in time, they even sent me a refund check for $4,000.
They sent you a refund check?
Yeah.
You're our government at work. They sent you a refund check for how much?
$4,000.
Unbelievable. On
And-
some other random
Yeah.
federal return year.
And we
Okay,
were-
but now if it's rearing its ugly head back and forth for all these years, why is this your excuse for not taking the apartment?
Well, because
Since you have to see
it
each
just
other at the
popped
chamber
up.
and
If
all.
you look at I thought it was gone.
Why would you think it was gone?
Because I was under the impression it was deemed uncollectible and it was written off.
And so they found one of your bank accounts, I guess,
It
right?
was, but-
How did the IRS find? The IRS never goes away.
Oh.
So there's no, they deemed it uncollectible, they're off my back. That's not how it works.
The fact is, if you start earning money again, here you go. They want their money back. So that was
Go figure. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? Let me ask you a question. How does any of that have anything to do with the fact that you signed a lease and then ended up bouncing a check?
Because at this point in time, now they want their money. Okay.
Mr. Casillo, let me ask you a question. What do you do for a living?
I'm embarrassed to tell you I'm a financial
You're
advisor.
more embarrassed than what's just happened so far? You're a what?
A financial advisor.
Get out of here. You are not a financial advisor. Are you seriously?
I'm serious.
Beware whoever recognizes them. I'm not kidding you, Mr. Casillo, because I don't know how you could possibly think that you can sign a lease knowing you have a huge tax problem, hoping that you can close your eyes and put your head under the covers and somehow it would go away, and thinking that would be a legal excuse for your writing a bad check and reneging on the lease.
First of all, I signed a lease before this happened.
I don't care. In other words, your defense is, Judge, I owe her that money, but now I don't owe her that money because I owe these other people so much money that I don't really want to pay that money.
Well,
how would that ever be a legal defense?
The fact is, when I signed the lease, there wasn't a tax problem.
No one cares. What part of what I'm saying do you not understand?
I understand.
That's fine if you were straight up and had said, I'm really sorry. I can't get into this bind. I just got the IRS on my tail again, and I can't go through with the lease, but here's your $2,000, and here's your bounce check fee. You were able to re-rent it? Good. I just don't want you to be at a loss. I hope you understand. I hope we can be friends, and I hope we can have a business relationship. See, that would be fine if that's what you said. But instead, like a weasel, you wanted her to eat the $2,035. That's where everything goes wrong in your scenario. No, that's not how it works, not in the real world. Verdict for the plaintiff, $2,035.
Well, the fact is, the defendant has just lost his case. What's your reaction to this outcome here?
Well, I don't like being called a weasel, but other than that.
Well, why'd you keep her money? I mean, that was her money, not yours.
It's too long of a story to even go into.
Did you think this was uncollectible also?
What?
Did you think this debt was uncollectible?
My only observation was that I never moved in, so it was, but I understand what the judge
How do you
had to
think
say.
you look out here?
Like an idiot.
Right down this way. All right, so step on in here. Tell me how you feeling coming out of the courtroom after this verdict.
Very good, thank you.
Who's going to handle the finances in this relationship once you two get married?
Still me.
Barbie?
Well, you know what? Somebody behind me, they had the right point that you can file for bankruptcy. It will excuse some debts, but the bottom line is that it doesn't matter whether you have financial hardship. It doesn't matter if you have no money in your bank account. If you sign a contract, you are obligated to pay under that contract, and it is not a defense that you can't afford it.